So, Joe, that kind of didn't. This wild card round didn't quite go as expected. It was exciting for a couple of series, but for the most part, it was 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, sweep, sweep, sweep. And a lot of it in a rather dominant and unpredictable fashion.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you?
we had. I thought some games were going to be a little bit better and tighter than others, but I didn't expect this many sweeps.
Yeah,
This
we have,
was
yeah,
completely nuts, to say the least.
yeah, and also there were a lot of unexpected performances too. But first, to get out of the way, MLB avoided the worst case scenario in which that the Blue Jays and Brewers both got swept, meaning that the first seed Dodgers and Rays got in. As I said well before that, if both either or both of those teams, especially the Dodgers, did not make it past this round, you would see this go away in very short order. Now it probably is going away. Manfred has said that his preference at the moment is a 14-team format
That's
where
way too
the number one teams get a bye, but that needs to go past the players' union first. And right now, they're not exactly on speaking terms.
many. Yeah, no,
But
especially after this
yeah,
summer.
yeah. But that's a conversation for another day. As said, the sweeps that the uh, the Blue Jays I expected a little more out of, but the Brewers it was kind of as I expected. They only mustered I think two or three runs total, if I recall,
Yeah, it was
against
just.
Walker Bueller and Clayton Kershaw. So that's kind of expected. What wasn't expected is how bad the Indians did against the
Oof. I mean,
Yankees.
that first game, 12-3 Yankees, um, that was just Cleveland. Shane Bieber gave up more runs in those first couple innings than he did like all year.
Yeah, he
Um,
gave up seven runs in 4 2/3 innings. It took him 8 starts to give up 7 runs total this season.
yeah.
And meanwhile, Garrett Cole was exactly what the Yankees envisioned him doing in the playoffs, setting a record for I believe the most 13 strikeout or more games in the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
or some record I forget. And
Something
then
like
the
that.
and then the next game after that, I say that's been the greatest or one of the two greatest games so far this playoff round. We'll get to the other one in a minute, but just all the back and forth going
Oh,
all.
I mean, I texted you right before I went to bed when the Yankees were up like, what was it, 8-6 in the sixth inning. I was like, all right, I'm heading to bed. Hopefully my nightmare doesn't come true. And I wake up in the morning, I'm checking my emails and other things. I'm like, oh yeah, the Yankees scored. They won that, right? And I look at it, I was like 10-9. I was like, whew.
Ugh.
I'm like, what happened there? I was looking, I'm like, oh man, they almost blew it again, the bullpen. I'm like, this bullpen was supposed to be uh, really good, and they just forgotten how to pitch sometimes.
Yeah,
Like, some days Britton's completely on key, and then other times he can't do anything. And same with the other guys. It's not just Britton; it's everyone.
no,
Um,
Boone had the anti-Midas touch. Every arm he went to, whether it was
yeah, it was just
Britain or it was uh, everything went turned to ash. But fortunately, the Yankees picked him up with a big grand slam by Urshela, twice Gary Sanchez, and then DJ LeMahieu finally putting the finishing blow.
yeah. I mean, Tanaka had to suffer through that rain in that first inning, so rain always sort of throws things off a bit. And generally, Tanaka has like one bad inning, and then he's pretty lights out, which is basically what happened the second, third, and fourth inning. But at that point, he had thrown 77 pitches, and
Had to get up twice
yeah,
to do it.
so it was just sort of like, let's take him out and let's bullpen it the rest of the way, which actually, one team actually did bullpen it the rest of the way.
Yeah,
Um, who was that? Was it San Diego?
yeah, yeah. San Diego with not having Dinelson,
Ten.
Lament, and Mike Clevenger for the wild card round.
Hmm.
They lucked out when they also had the second great game of this this postseason. Down 1-0 in the series and 4-0 after the second inning to the Cardinals, and then 6-2. In that game 2, they came back in a big way.
Yeah, they were down 6-2 in the sixth inning, and then Tatis hit a home run, a nice 3-run shot to get it close. Machado ties the game later in that inning,
Yeah.
and then Myers is coming into his own here at San Diego, a former top prospect, and then Tatis smacks another one.
And then Myers does it again
to extend that lead in the eighth.
And then the next day they go and shut out the Cardinals to advance and face the Dodgers.
And let's just talk about how many pitchers they used in these games. Pulling this up here.
1, 2, 3.
San Diego. They had in the first game. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys pitching. The second game was basically like the same thing. I guess for San Diego's purposes, it's good that they had like 4 days rest, 5 days rest, because those arms definitely needed it after doing what they did.
Yeah, eight in the first games, 9 in the second game, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another 9 arms in the third game.
So
they got an average of 1 2/3 innings out of their starting pitching. So, especially, which is amazing considering they expected Chris Paddock to get a lot more and Zach Davies to go a lot further. The only real bullpen game was the third one with Chris Stammen starting, but they're hoping with the division series against the Dodgers that they'll be back. As of recording, they have not finalized their roster yet. They don't need to until Tuesday. But it's basically a coin flip whether one of both Clement and Clevenger will be there, and boy will they need them against the Dodgers, who already announced that Buehler and Kershaw are going 1 and 2.
No deal with it.
Yep. And Kershaw had a playoff performance for the ages, especially for himself with his track record. Now, he has been better over these last couple of years, getting some better outings. He's still been roughed up a little bit, but
as long as he's been starting.
Yeah.
Don't ask about his relief performance.
We can't all be Madison Bumgarner.
No, unfortunately. You know who we can be, though?
Trevor
Unless
Bauer.
you have it. Yeah, well, we can be Trevor Bauer, but we can all hope not to be the Reds, setting a new mark in futility. The most shutout innings of being shut out by a team in a playoff series, getting shut out for the 13-inning game 1, and then getting shut out in game 2 for a total of 22 innings.
Yeah,
which is a shame because both Trevor Bauer and Luis Castillo pitched brilliantly.
Oh yeah, Trevor Bauer 7 2/3 innings, 12 strikeouts on only 103 pitches. I think he probably could have gone that other third inning. I'm not sure why they pulled him out. I was eating lunch and I had to leave after that. But that bullpen did a great thing, and Bradley just gave up that run. And once it gets to 13 innings, things got to happen. So.
Yeah, and which also we should note that because this is the playoffs, there is no extra runner rule. It is as the extra innings have always been, where you start with a clean slate every half inning. None of this the runner at second base lunacy. Yeah, and then that shame that this kind of mirrored what happened to the Reds in their first series this year. That they had excellent pitching, but the hitting could not catch up.
That was sort of the tale of them all year.
Yeah, the first team in Major League history to have more walks than singles.
It's just. I was discussing it with you yesterday a little bit. Trevor Bauer, he had a year for himself. I know we've talked about Shane Bieber, but great year. But Trevor Bauer definitely established himself as a future star. He's only 29, so he's not young, but he came in early, starting in 2012 with the Diamondbacks. And he had a fairly high ERA. He had an ERA north of 4 from 2012 to 2017.
So
but it was
just stay out of the way.
lower and lower each year. 2018 dropped down to 221. 2019 with Cleveland was 379, and then few games with Cincinnati last year was 639. So that wasn't very good, but he's been super into analytics and everything. I've been following him, and I think he's like really found himself. He threw out a 1.73 ERA, 100 strikeouts, 17 walks, only 14 earned runs all year. I think the most important and impressive stat is he had 0 blown saves.
Yeah.
Sorry, bad joke.
But yeah, he's found himself at an excellent time to hit free agency.
And what's sad though is with all those stats that he had, he only went 5 and 4 all year. It's just,
which tells you about the red field.
yeah. I'm looking up here. Let's see, what did they have here? So he's given up 2 games all year that he given up more than 2 earned runs, and that was back-to-back games against Milwaukee and Chicago, one of which was a shortened game.
Hey, that counts.
But yeah, I mean, you can't really ask for too much. Both those games he gave up 2 home runs. So,
yeah.
You throw a couple bad pitches and that's it. So he didn't really throw too many bad pitches all year. It's just he's definitely proved he's going to get paid. Supposedly he only wants to do 1-year deals. So we'll see what kind of money maybe the Angels want to throw at.
Even the Phillies could go after. I can name about a half dozen teams that even in a pandemic will pull the bank up.
Yeah, I know I've mentioned it before that he doesn't get along too well with Garrett Cole, so I don't know if the Yankees would be super into getting him. Well, the Yankees might be, but Cole might not be into that. But the Yankees might be losing Tanaka after this year.
And Paxton and Happ, so they're looking at potentially 3 arms on the way, and they're getting one back in Severino, but behind that they have Montgomery and Debbie Garcia, so they need at least one additional arm.
Yeah, so if Trevor Bauer is only looking for 1-year deals, and the Yankees want to try it out for a year, they might be able to get away with that. Although, he wants to pitch, 4 days?
Yeah, most teams won't want that.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, maybe the Brewers, because they don't really have that much quality pitching anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll have to see where he goes. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, one of the teams that I could see him going to are the Houston Astros, who amazingly moved into the division series. Although I say amazingly with in quotation marks, because in doing so they extended the longest streak in sports futility in North America, with the Minnesota Twins now 0-18, 19, which is more than any team in the 4 major pro sports.
I mean, most of that comes from the Yankees, but still.
Yeah. And the worst thing, it doesn't count them losing the a 1-game playoff in 2008. Although if that counted, then them winning a 1-game playoff the next year would have broken it. So, that tells you in do or die postseason games since 2000, or in postseason games since 2004. After that game 1, they've won exactly 1 game where their season could be on the line in that series, and in the postseason in general, they haven't. Period. To the point that every team has made the postseason since then, except the Seattle Mariners and one other team. I forget I forget who it was, but it said all but two teams have made the postseason, or is it they've made the postseason and they've won a postseason? Yeah, it's all they've won a postseason game. Because I think the one team that made the postseason didn't, and it's escaping me at the moment.
Yeah.
But that is like that team that they had this year. I thought they would at least get past the Astros, considering their hitting was a little off, but their
I mean,
pitching
I said
was
it
much
last
improved.
week that the Astros, I mean, they might not have had a very good regular season, squeaking in under 500, but they have that experience. I mean, you've got that playoff experience. Sometimes that's just all you really need to make a deep run. So I think the Astros are nothing to scoff at. I think the A's are a better team, like just running wise, but on paper, Houston might be the better team, at least hitting wise.
Pitching.
Whether the pitching can get past the tough Oakland lineup, I don't know, but they're going to have to really get those bats going.
There's history between the A's and the Astros just from this year, not just from Mike Fiers, who pitched Game 4 or Game 5 for the A's, if it gets to that. But also remember Ramon Laureano and the Astros coaches got into it this season. I think it was the second or third fight, and not just altercation. This was a fight of the season.
I mean, if you want to talk about fights, you talk about the Yankees and the Rays.
Yeah, but that was mostly this was actually a full out.
No, I know that was a
gross.
brawl, but I'm just talking about it. These two teams are going to be colliding now.
Oh yeah,
And
it'll
that's
be
going to be interesting because the comments by Kevin Cash, saying that he's got guys that can throw 98 miles an hour. So if there's not a warning before the opening pitch tonight, which will be happening in like an hour, something like that.
Yeah. I don't think there'll be a warning, but at the first sign of trouble, they're gonna call.
Yeah. I just hope it's not on like something stupid like a bad curveball or something.
Yeah. Make it actually something of intent. That there's intent and then there's accidental.
And then there's also keep trying to throw inside to the Yankees, which is just super annoying.
Yeah. And then there's also it doesn't matter because our overlord Derek Jeter and the Miami Marlins will win the World Series.
Yeah, so far they've won every postseason series they've ever been a part of. The Marlins.
Yeah, the Cubs just rolled over.
Yeah, that was the only matchup that broke my bracket. I had everybody else pegged in right.
Yeah, I mean my bracket has been completely busted because both Cleveland teams did not make it past the first round. So
you had the Cleveland over New York.
Yeah, I had Indians versus Reds. So I have to my adjusted bracket for the division series the matchups is I say New York makes it all the way. That they get past Tampa Bay, they get past Oakland.
Yeah, because the Yankees really didn't have everybody. And they were facing Tampa when they got to that middle of the season over there. So that was sort of like a big thing at that point. So it looks like they're pretty healthy. Well, I mean, Luke Voigt's still hobbling on his foot, but hopefully he can just suck it up for another couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you have Judge and Stanton back, and the Yankees are built for a World Series, just like Dodgers, who I think they will face and fight in a 6-game series. Because if you look at the rest of that the National League, the Padres, they're built for it, but without Clevenger and Clevenger and Lamet can't make it back, that is a very weak team.
Yep.
The Marlins are the Marlins. You don't know what you're getting at. And the Braves, they have that great hitting, but with all those pitching injuries, Max Fried and Ian Anderson as their really only two pure starting pitching options will get very exposed the longer they remain in the playoffs. That they have maybe have a number 3 guy, but after that they got a bullpen the rest of the way most.
Yeah, I mean that's
You
sort
can't.
of what the Yankees have at the moment.
Yeah, but
Um,
they at least if Game 3 could be half. Game 4, Devi Garcia, and think Game 5 is where things could get interesting. The Braves, they get maybe Tommy Malone Game 3, and then you don't really have another option after that.
yeah. But would you send Cole out for a possible Game 5, or
It
or
it would depend if for division series I would.
you throw him
If,
out there?
yeah, because it's do or die. If
And
in
just
the champ,
spending $300 on him, $326 million. I think he's got to go pitch Game 5.
yeah, yeah, you have to say, is he better than who else you can throw in Game 5? And I would say that he's better than Monty or Garcia in that role. He's your big horse, and you have to do it. But I'm gonna say now it's going to be the Yankees in 6 against the Dodgers. Good old classic matchup.
Yep. Speaking of classic matchups, we've got some basketball going down.
Yeah.
But actually, before that, just real quick, Angel Hernandez has been assigned to the Dodgers and Padres series. I know you're not allowed to specifically comment on things, but Hernandez sucks, and the reason why he's been suing because he's not been given high-profile games is because he sucks. He's just a bad umpire. What was it? A while back, he had 3 missed plays at first base that were overturned.
I think so, yeah.
A couple of years ago. So it's just.
And a lot of the players have a very frosty relationship.
Yeah, I don't quite understand if he's this bad. I know this year a lot of umpires opted out, so he was sort of like.
Last man standing.
Yeah, last man standing, so he was given a series. I'm just glad he's not with the Yankees in that series. But, my God. He's just a terrible umpire. He's a crybaby. He can't take anything. It's just... I don't know. I don't know. Let's start a petition. At this point, I'd rather do a GoFundMe for him to go away forever. But, and then...
Yeah, you know who did go away? LeBron James after that what I guess devastating for him Game 3 loss.
Apparently LeBron told Miami Heat that it was over, and Jimmy Butler keeps deciding to say no, and he basically went for a great triple-double, which apparently this was the first time or something, or one of the rare handful of instances that someone had more points, rebounds, and assists than LeBron James. So, in any postseason game, which is incredible, considering that he's had one of those categories more than somebody his entire career since '03, I believe. So this is just something incredible that Jimmy Butler has done. Whether this puts him back into the series, yeah, 2-1's definitely a lot closer than being down 3-0.
And the Heat have been known to take down Goliaths.
Yeah, so, I mean, they didn't have some of the guys. I figured it was way over considering the first 2 games were such blowouts.
But they've at least made it a series, and they've also shown, at least to me, that LeBron James is still very much a man-child with walking off the court with 10 seconds left. You don't do that. I don't care if you're LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Adam Silver.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to do stuff like that, then at that point in football, if you get the ball with under 2 minutes to go and you just got that first down and you just have to kneel the ball 3 times, you might just do like baseball and just be like, all right, we're going to take our 4 pitches and let's just go. Why risk anyone being stupid and jumping the line and hurting somebody or starting a fist fight? Which actually happened between the Rams and the Giants, but we don't have time for that because that's not really interesting. The Giants suck.
Well, aside from the fact that the 49ers once again are calling on the league to shut down MetLife Stadium for field conditions, since they played two games in a row there, and they once again had more injuries.
Yeah.
But I mean, are they really going to shut down because one of the best teams in the league?
Well, they're not one of the best teams this year. They've got a lot of hurt people.
Yeah, they're saying, "Oh, we need a mulligan." Yeah, they're saying we need a mulligan.
Yeah. Back to basketball, though. One of the former Celtics and now former Clippers head coach Doc Rivers signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, and that bothers me so much.
How
so
so?
much, because I'm a Celtics fan. Philadelphia is in the same division there. Rivers coached the Celtics for all those years, and it's just really hard to swallow that because I really don't like Joel Embiid. He's an arrogant. I'm not going to say the word because I'll probably get in trouble. Not that word.
Like you. We like you.
Different word.
Please don't take us down.
Yeah, he's just a jerk. He came into basketball in his career really late. I think he only really started in college or something. He was just a natural talent because he was just very tall and naturally gifted. But he's just very arrogant, and it just bothers me. Ben Simmons has a lot of issues with his shooting. Fairly good defender, but I don't know. I just don't like the 76ers, and it breaks my heart that Doc Rivers is going to sign over and coach against the Celtics that he won a title with back in 2008 and could have won in 2009 if Garnett didn't get hurt for the playoffs, and then losing to the Lakers in 2010. So this is just a little bit hard for me to swallow here, but I guess best of luck to him. And I guess on to football, where the Texans fired head coach / GM Bill O'Brien following an 0-4 start, an abysmal year last year that was a letdown. And
yeah, this was a long.
This has just been what
coming.
people have been asking for. I mean, Deshaun Watson has shown he's a great quarterback. I mean, he got the money for it. I know teams hand out money like there's no tomorrow nowadays, but this is just incredible that he's wasting this talent. And luckily, it's not like the Cleveland Browns where they wasted talent before.
And they're actually good this year.
But Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback, and despite having a lot of obstacles and things taken away from him, like DeAndre Hopkins, he's still able to flourish and still be a good quarterback. So that just shows what he can do, and once he gets the right head coach, because we've seen head coaches sometimes make or break players and teams. So it's just I don't know anymore. They got to figure something out. We had a lot of COVID tests for the NFL this week. We had the Steelers and Titans stopped because 20 Titan and coach affiliates had tested positive, so that game's moved back. And it's crazy that they have all of this and that they're not being smarter. I mean, Gruden, the head coach for the Raiders, still isn't wearing his mask properly. He's just being a big idiot, like he normally is. And
you also have Cam Newton on the Patriots who just positive. That game was postponed until today and will go off tonight.
Yep. Because I think a player on each team tested positive, but I guess
it was
isolated and everyone else tested fine.
It was the usual, we can't tell you who this is, but we're going to put this guy on the injury list.
Yeah.
So that'll tell you everything you know. Yeah. Let's see what it is.
Yeah, so the NFL is apparently going to get a little bit more strict with their protocols.
They need to start throwing around suspensions.
Well, according to the memo, they'll require a longer onboarding process for free agent tryouts. limitations on number of tryouts, ban on gatherings outside club facility, implementing a video monitoring system to ensure compliance with protocols.
Big brother Roger Goodell was watching Adam Silver's NBA.
Yeah. So they're going to be trying to do a little bit more. They're going to also suggested a decrease in size of traveling party and a reduction in the amount of time spent in lunchrooms and locker rooms. Trying to think. I thought I saw something about possible losing games. Goodell wrote the league will issue discipline that could include the loss of draft choices or forfeit of a game if protocol violations occur that result in the spread of the virus, adjustments to schedule, or other unspecified league impact. So whether that's going to be actually implemented of losing games, I don't know, but I think it should be if it was deemed, that they endangered people, sort of like, who was it that went to the
Try not to stomp.
Atlantic City or whatever it was, the casino in baseball?
You not
Brewers?
You mean the Cardinals?
Cardinals. Yeah.
Cardinals went to casino, and then you also had Mike Clevenger and Zach Plesac just go out in the town in Chicago and lie about it.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're doing stuff like that, you definitely deserve to lose the game because one, you're growing men, and two, this is a team you should be able to have a log of where everybody is. I know football is a big squad. You have a 55-man roster with, I think, 48 you can dress, plus maybe like 12 different coaches, and then strength and conditioning stuff, and medical staff.
You have more people on one team.
So you're looking at like maybe 80, maybe even 90 people per team that you got to keep track of. But like at that point, you can designate certain people to like just keep track. I mean, you've got defensive coaches, offensive coaches.
You have captains.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you can break up those 90 people groups into several categories and just have like 5 or 6 people just in charge and be like, all right, I've got a head count of these 15 knuckleheads. That shouldn't be too hard to do. But I guess apparently it has been.
You know what also has been hard to do in football? It's been hard for the Atlanta Falcons to win. Like
they haven't been the same since they lost that Super Bowl game.
No.
It is abysmal what's happening.
Yeah, week 2, the first quarter they scored 20 points against the Cowboys, and then give up 40 points in the last 3 quarters, including a last second touchdown to blow the game 39-40. Someone I remember lost $35,000 on a bet that had the Falcons up 99% chance to win, and they lost. And to make it even worse, the next week against the Bears, they did it again. That they were up 16-10 in the second quarter, and they scored 10 points for to be up 26, and then give up 20 points in the fourth quarter to lose 30-26. So back-to-back last-minute fourth quarter losses. This team has a penchant for this stuff. But I know we joked about it a few weeks ago, especially talking about Braves and their miscues as of late in the playoffs. But Falcons seem to embrace it.
Yeah, they just need to like re-get video game Michael Vick back and let him just do quarterback sweeps and rush the entire thing because they can't do anything.
Well, it's also worse that the owners and the coaches don't seem to be on the same page. One side saying that, we know about the rules of getting the fourth and down punts, and the owner saying no they don't seem to know it, or the coach, I forget who it is, but they're neither on the same page. That 2 debilitating losses in a row. This is a team that might need a leadership shakeup sooner rather than later if this persists. They have the last game of Week 4 tonight at 9 o'clock against the Packers. So we'll see if they make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, and I've talked about Russell Wilson being probably the best player in the NFL because I'm not handing it over to Mahomes yet. But according to Brady Henderson of ESPN, Russell Wilson briefly called his own plays Sunday when he lost communication with offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. During that drive in the fourth quarter, he was 4 for 4 for 65 yards. Seattle rushed on 2 of those plays, and he got a touchdown pass to David Moore. So not all quarterbacks can call plays and be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. I'm sure Drew Brees can call his own plays from time to time.
Right.
But it just shows the maturity Russell Wilson has, the knowledge he has, what he can do. It's just a shame he can't get this offensive line to stop giving up all these sacks. I mean, he averages like 3-4 sacks a game. And I'm just surprised he can still keep getting up after all these years. Because it's just amazing. I mean, how many years has he been in the league now? He's been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. This is his 9th season now. And he's been sacked 33, 44, 42, 45, 41, 43, 51 in 2018, 48 last year, and he's already been sacked 11 times in 4 games. I mean, that's just inexcusable.
And that's going to catch up to them real quick if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, that he's been able to survive these 11 years and play in every single game, that's just incredible on Russell Wilson. So I still don't understand how he hasn't had a single MVP vote this year. And then I guess with the NASCAR update, Denny Hamlin won the race, crazy Talladega where there's always crashes. There were so many lead changes in that race. But apparently Denny Hamlin got bumped to the inside of the yellow line, which apparently if you bump somebody there, you get in trouble, which Matt DiBenedetto did twice. So instead of getting second place, he dropped all the way back to 22nd, and he really needed those points. So it was a bit of a shame, and because Hamlin was forced to the inside of that yellow line, he was able to basically cut across the corner and like just narrowly win that race. So it's looking like that. Kevin Harvick didn't win. We're going to a road race next week, and that could be anyone's game. Chase Elliott's been pretty good on the road courses, so look to him to maybe win, or Martin Truex Jr. They've been pretty good, but we'll have to see. Kevin Harvick looks like he's a lock to move on. He's up like 60 points on the cutoff man, so as long as he like finishes the race, he should be fine. You basically need to finish dead last with a DNF with no points collected for him not to make it, and have everybody else at the bottom basically win the race and then finish in the top while sweeping all the other points. So unlikely, but could happen.
Yeah. Before we wrap up to our last story of the game, interesting thing I was just skimming through, looking for anything happening. That the Supreme Court resumed its new judicial session today, and the first case it ruled on was to allow a lawsuit to go through Sene versus Royals, which was filed in 2014 to argue for higher wages for minor league baseball players. In 2019, it was expanded to include basically all of minor league baseball, and was moved as a class action lawsuit. So it's been moved. It's been given the green light and will be ruled on in the coming months. So this is an interesting thing to look at considering the current situation between Major League Baseball and minor league baseball, with MLB rolling out new partner leagues from independent baseball, the minor league baseball president retiring, and the question of whether MLB will absorb all minor league baseball under direct rule and eliminate a quarter of the teams as they've been wanting.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially with not getting any of the funding for this year because of COVID, that's going to be, I guess, maybe a sticking point for the MLB owners and not wanting to pay the minor league players as much money because they weren't able to get some of the money this year.
Yeah, but they caught a lot of public flack about
Yeah.
paying their minor league
So this
players.
is going to be a big issue.
And this also has the backdrop of an election year because in our minor dipping of the toe in political bros for the episode, I could see if Democrats win the White House and have full control of the House and the Senate, that MLB might want to think twice about eliminating minor league teams, because I could see them taking a hard look at the full control that MLB has on baseball in North America and try to remove the monopoly protections they have if they get rid of all these minor league teams. But this is a story that we'll watch in the off season when we're looking for
whether
stories
breaking up the monopoly of the minor league teams is the right move or not. That's up for debate. Having an all-Democratic party running the U.S. government, I'm going to say nay to that.
Yeah,
I
divided
don't know
government.
Liberals.
I'll just say divided government always has the best results for the people.
Yeah.
And then our last story is over the last week. Another person in Major League Baseball has passed away.
Two of them, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Two of them. First and the biggest one, I'll go with Bob Gibson, the longtime Cardinals pitcher, owner of the lowest ERA in Major League history. Passed away after a long battle with illnesses at the age of 84 on October 2nd. All-time great. One of the best baseball players, both of African American descent and of all time, and owner of some of the great Major League Baseball games in the World Series, especially his 3 games against the Tigers in 1967. That the Cardinal great that's going to be missed. If you want to talk about the other one,
What was it, Lou Brock? No.
I know Bob Gibson mainly because
Yeah. There was someone on the Dodgers.
you're not talking about Charles Hager, are you?
Maybe. I forget what I saw this morning.
Yeah, because Charles Hager is a more tragic one, where he wanted he was found in suspect.
Lou Johnson.
Oh, all right, Lou Johnson. That's who it is.
Tyson.
Yeah, he hit a key home run for the Dodgers in Game 7 of the 1965 World Series. Scored the only run in Sandy Koufax's perfect game. He was 86, played 17 seasons. So, yeah. We had some famous baseball players die this week, but yeah, Bob Gibson is definitely the biggest of the names. But I think that's about it. Other than the Astros are up 8-5 as of this recording, in the middle of the 7th. Correa has 2 home runs.
Yeah, so it looks like they'll take Game 1, and the A's will have to.
I mean, the way we've seen stuff go back and forth, and I mean, the A's were up 3-0.
Doesn't matter.
3, then they went up 5-3, and now the Astros are up 8-5. So this has been a bit of a back and forth game.
One drop. We got to do it at the same time. So it'll
Both
be
starting pitchers stopping after the fourth.
1, 2, 3.
Hazer on there. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So
Fifth pitcher now.
I gotta, I gotta slow that is recording.
Astros only on their third.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
recording.
and then Blake Snell is and Garrett Cole are set to start very shortly
Yep.
against their lineup is interesting because they've one notable absence in this lineup, Gary Sanchez. The only reason I mention him comparatively is against Snell.
1, 2.
Yeah,
3,
well,
squeeze.
not of that. Against Snell, Gary Sanchez is 6 for 20 with 5 home runs. That's more home runs than the rest of the Yankees combined.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
4.
Yeah, the rest of the Yankees have 5 home runs off, and then Gary has 5 home runs off himself. So that I know it's Cole against pitching, but considering some of the other
Well, maybe you'll look
people
to
on the
see if it gets to that point. Maybe he'll get a designated hitting spot or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if he not designated pinch hitting, but that
Yeah,
depends on how far he goes into the game. Hopefully, we
Yeah.
knock him out early.
yeah, other numbers. Gardner is the next is 6 for 21 with a
Yeah,
home
but
run.
it doesn't look like he's in the lineup either. Frazier's got the nod in left field.
Yeah.
He's 1
Yeah.
for 10 with 2 strikeouts.
And thankfully DJ LeMahieu
No
is 6
deal
for
with it.
14.
Yep.
So at least
Aaron
someone
Judge
in the lineup.
1 for 16 with 10 strikeouts. That's
Yeah.
a bit of a yikes.
Yeah.
Um,
Aaron Hicks 4 for 22. Stanton 2 for 11. Urshela 2 for 14. Torres 2 for 13. This
Yeah.
is
It's not looking very good, but
if you're not going to hit, grind out the at-bats.
yeah, they got to take pitches. I mean, that's the one thing my dad's been telling me all year as he's been watching some of the games, that they just don't like to take pitches this year, and that's what's killing them.
That's across baseball. The three true outcomes: walk, strikeout, or home run. There are way too many guys who are that and are not willing to shorten up and just try to foul stuff off, get a single, move the lineup.
Yep, slap it the other way. It's just home run or strikeout.
Yeah, I guess the true two outcomes. But there's one true outcome for this show, which is that we're at time.
Yep. And
So, yeah, Joe, thank you again, as always.
thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah.
That's all 2 of you watching or listening.
That third person in the back. Hi, we see you too.
Yeah. All right.
Put your mask on, wash your hands,
Be safe.
and we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.